Hey everybody, welcome to ADC. After the end of the Second World War, new independent countries appeared on the map. Those were former colonies, most densely populated of them were located in the Asia-Pacific region. War and decolonization brought them not only independence but also ruined economy and infrastructure. Furthermore, most of them were pro-communist that didn't let them receive innovative technologies and natural resources, oil in particular, from Western countries. It was China's Communist Party that realized the utility of mopeds. They were cheap, consumed little fuel, and were simple to operate. Alongside with gas scooters, electric prototypes of scooters and bicycles were constructed. The batteries were still heavy and didn't overcome long distances, but those vehicles became available for the majority of population, though they were not that cheap as gas models. By the early 1970s, mass production of the motorized scooters similar to electrocyclettes started. They quickly flooded not only China but the whole region. Growing industrial cities needed both gas and electric engines, so the new round of their revolution started. Growth of big cities in Europe and the United States in the second part of the 20th century and the global oil industry crisis in the 1970s revived the interest to electric engines as a more effective way to use energy. European market also presented some interesting electric bike models. One of the most successful was a model called Electra, produced by German company Solo. Electra was powered by a Bosch 750-watt motor and 12-volt rechargeable batteries. The weight of the bike was quite impressive, 67 kilos, where 30 kilos were accounted for the batteries. Its maximum speed equaled 24 km per hour that let the electric scooter compete with gasoline scooters made in Germany, which did not succeed 25 km per hour. We can't compare it to the bestsellers like Lambretta or Vespa, but even despite the fact that competitors also started producing similar electric concepts, only Electra was a commercial success, though the scooters were produced by pre-order only. On the other side of the Atlantic, same as 70 years ago, a motorized kick scooter was created. In 1985, Steve Patmont, his wife Hannelore, and two sons Gabe and Tim created Patmont Motor Works and started producing stand-up kick scooters powered with internal combustion engine. Family received a patent and started promoting their scooters among the purveyors of yachts and personal aircrafts as a light, portable means of transport for various commuting, practical utility and recreation uses. Classified as a form of micromobility, those scooters were generally designed with a large deck in the center on which the rider stands. First models were rather gluttonous, but further models were equipped with more economic engines from Japan. Until the early 1990s, combustion engines far exceeded electric ones. In 1991, with the advent of lithium-ion battery, electric motors gained some advantage. They became smaller, lighter, and from now on they could go further as the battery held the charge much longer. Plus, by the beginning of the 21st century, the environmental problems turned more and more acute, and since electric motors are emission-free, they are considered more environmentally friendly than gasoline ones. These conditions encouraged the development of a great variety of electric motorized vehicles, which became smaller than ever before. Along with these changes, a lot of new kick scooter models came out by early 2000s. Kick scooter riding was turning into a real subculture. Even extreme sport named scootering appeared. It has something in common with skateboarding, but with its own rules, freestyle elements, and the manner of their performing. With the subculture development, more and more kick scooters were appearing all around. In 2013, light folding electric scooters powered by lithium batteries and brushless hub motors appeared on the market. Many companies started their production. Initially, American models dominated the market, but over the time, cheaper Chinese analogs began to crowd them out. first Chinese concepts were very inferior to the American ones, but the development of technologies made them quite competitive. I don't see any point in delving into modern e-scooter models, since it will be rather advertising of certain brands which are already well known, so let's just say that they are all good in their own way. Same as in 1915 when the first motorized scooters appeared on the streets, the attitude towards modern e-scooters is rather ambiguous. Some people suggest that kick scooters are even less traumatic than bicycles considering their smaller size and height. However, statistics illustrate that people get quite serious injuries riding e-scooters. Just like more than 100 years ago, motorized scooters are outlawed in many countries. There is a bike lane, but it's for bikes only. You can't ride e-scooter in it. Riding e-scooter on public roads is also forbidden. I'm not even talking about sidewalks. This small example arises many questions. Where are e-scooters permitted to ride? Do you need driving license to drive e-scooter because the speed of some concepts is rather high? Should there be any specific traffic rules? They seem to be indispensable for big cities. Tiny, maneuverable, rapid, and they might even partially solve the problem of traffic jams by relieving heavy traffic. On a hot summer day, you can easily use this vehicle to get to the subway or straight to your office without worrying that you won't catch your bus or get sweat riding a bike. No need to look for a parking place or pay for it. This scooter can be put in a closet or even in a gym bag. These small devices can travel the distance for more than 60 kilometers at a rather high speed. And we gotta tell the truth that this fact won't suit many people, from bus or taxi drivers to car manufacturers or gas station owners, and so on and so forth. Obviously, it's one of the reasons why e-scooters are generally showered with criticism. The Autoped was constructed 15 years before the first traffic lights appeared, when drunk driving was not considered a serious violation. Those were the years of so-called dangerous driving, but still the police considered riding a scooter extremely dangerous and tried to fine its riders for any reason. However, the reason existed. At that time, the automobiles turned main on the roads, and they were setting the rules. The main problem of kick scooters is that throughout their history they were no more than a fashion accessory or just a toy, which was never taken seriously, and the nearest future will show if modern e-scooters can end up like a Draisine or an Autoped. The authorities might think that the fashion for e-scooters will pass and there won't be any necessity in making new laws for them. But it's 2020 now, not 1916. One thing is certain, that there are more and more e-scooters on the streets from year to year, and if they can really make our life more convenient, the authorities will have to rack their brains how to create new traffic rules or how to collect taxes from scooter riders. The suburbs are blending in the cities, making them larger and larger, bringing more and more people. On the contrary, the apartments are getting more and more compact. Cars, motorbikes and even bicycles require a parking place, which is often too expensive or too hard to find in a big city, while keeping a bicycle or motorcycle in a small apartment will be at least inconvenient. Personally, I enjoy cycling on weekends in the park or somewhere outside the city, but on a hot summer day I would still prefer riding e-scooter around the crowded city streets, although it's less healthy due to the lack of physical activity. Speaking about the countries with different climate conditions, the first place will surely be for the cars. But in summer, driving through the city with a breeze without traffic jams is something that can only be given by e-scooters, or perhaps a Segway, but that's entirely another story. What's your attitude towards electric scooters? Share your opinion in comments below. Thanks for watching this video, hope you enjoyed it.